breaking news today.
Please subscribe and then check notification box to get all breaking news alert.
Traitor John McCain's damning secret goes public after 10 years. Arizona Senator John McCain has spent the last few months betraying the Republican Party by constantly attacking President Donald Trump. Now, however, this has come back to bite him in a huge way as his own nasty secret has leaked to the public. McCain has built an entire political career off of the sympathy he got from being a prisoner of war during the Vietnam War for 6 years. However, what most Americans don't know about McCain is that he worked for decades to bury stunning information about American prisoners over in Vietnam who, unlike him, didn't return home. Using his position as senator, McCain was able to work behind the scenes to push and sponsor federal laws that would keep the most damning information about our pals buried through classified documents. The secrets McCain hid about Vietnam War pals are massive and staggering. Even though 2 defense secretaries swore under oath about the men left behind in Vietnam, McCain continued to spread the lie that there were no survivors, much to the horror of POW families who were frantic to know the truth about what happened to their loved ones. Tons of government documents reveal that there were hundreds of prisoners held in Vietnam who were not returned when President Richard Nixon signed the peace treaty in January of 1973. In fact, only 591 were released, including McCain. When the war ended, Nixon promised the Vietnamese a $3.25 billion in post-war reconstruction aid without any political conditions. The catch to this was that Congress would have to approve these funds, approval that never happened. The Vietnamese were furious that Nixon had screwed them over, so they decided to keep the remaining hundreds of American prisoners, because their ransom money, post-war provisions, never came. CIA whistleblowers have said that the U.S. government wanted to keep these remaining missing men secret because as the years went on, it became more and more difficult for the government to admit that it knew about the prisoners that were left behind. It took years for the CIA to finally admit that their intel indicated that the remaining POWs were eventually executed by the Vietnamese, as they were no longer useful bargaining chips. After receiving tons of backlash, the government was forced to create the Senate Select Committee on POW/ME Affairs in 1991 to investigate these allegations. McCain became a pivotal member of the committee and was paramount to sweeping the entire atrocity of these forgotten POWs under the rug. The American Conservative reported. McCain was also instrumental in amending the Missing Service Personnel Act, which had been strengthened in 1995 by POW advocates to include criminal penalties, saying, "Any government official who knowingly and willfully withholds from the file of a missing person any information relating to the disappearance or whereabouts and status of a missing person shall be fined as provided in Title 18 or imprisoned not more than 1 year or both." A year later, in a closed House Senate conference on an unrelated military bill, McCain, at the behest of the Pentagon, attached a crippling amendment to the act, stripping out its only enforcement teeth, the criminal penalties, and reducing the obligations of commanders in the field to speedily search for missing men and to report the incidents to the Pentagon.